Hey guys, Red Wolf here. So I felt since this is Halloween month, I thought it'd be nice to look back at some of the best Scooby Doo movies. Yes, we all know the iconic cartoon group that was created by Hanna-Barbera way back in the 50s, and it's a franchise that's still popular to this day. So I thought it'd be nice to give you my top 5 best Scooby Doo movies to date. Now, these are movies that are a bit older for a younger viewer to remember, but then again, I'm sure most won't mind as most of my subscribers are practically adults anyways, so it shouldn't really matter too much. But anyways, let's get started. For number 5, we have is Scooby Doo and the Ghoul School. It's probably the cutest in the franchise. Ghoul School was set to be about the trio of Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy going and working at a school of daughters of classic horror movie monsters. Clearly set to be around the time of the 13th ghost story, the trio go and act as volunteer teachers for the school. I personally like this one a lot because it's just a whimsical seeing the daughters of the horror movie monsters that I've known to come and love from the years of horror movie viewings. Though it isn't the most noteworthy of films and isn't exactly well remembered as many of the newer ones, but it's still an enjoyable film and provides a few nostalgic laughs for the Scooby-Doo fanbase. For number 4, we have is Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers. Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers is an excellent extension of classic horror movie series. The animation is up to standard and Shaggy and Scooby are as lovable and cowardly as ever. Shaggy is quick to say yikes whenever something supernatural happens, and Scooby leaps under Shaggy's t-shirt. As ever, Scrappy, the smallest of the two dogs, is always full of courage and can't wait to knock out the ghost for 6. The film also pulls every haunted house thriller cliche in the book, including the moving eyes in the colonial self-portrait in the drawing room, and bookcases crammed with the dusty hard books opened to reveal the secret passages and creepy attics. The premise may be childish as one would expect from a kids' TV program, but this is more distinguished as it manages to lay down a genuine creepy atmosphere, which manages to compete with the more adult stories though its dark animation and mood music. I'm sure the new generation of kids will get plenty of laughs, as well as a few mild scares, and the adults will probably have a blast too. For number 3, we get is Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase was a really interesting take on the Scooby-Doo film, given for the fact that they hadn't done anything major mystery with video games, or a form of technology at that. This particular film for the Mystery Gang had a rather unique villain, monster, and setting for this adventure. And the neat little twist for this film is the fact that you can see the gang with their original incarnations. It's rather super trippy to see the new revamped version of the gang with the original downgraded version of the gang. Another interesting thing to see along with the original gang is to see the original monsters and the villains that they went up against. It's a very nice throwback and nostalgic for fans who grew up with the original series back in the 50s, and for people like me who saw reruns of the original show when it was reran on Boomerang. For number 2, we get is Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost is a really fun and enjoyable film for all ages. The story is interesting and, like most films, has a surprising ending. It's always someone you don't expect. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost is funny and has all of the loving gang in it. The music is also good and sounds very unique. Plus, the animation for the movie looks really good, and you can tell by the facial expressions of just how detailed the animation was. And I even love how towards the end of the movie they solve a mystery to solve another mystery. But I'm not gonna spoil too much. Tim Curry was also in this movie, who voiced Ben Ravencroft, who, spoiler alert, is revealed to be the bad guy towards the end of the movie. I'd recommend this film to anybody, especially a Scooby-Doo fan. And come on, who didn't love the Hex Girls? And last but not least, we have is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Yep, you all knew this was coming. And oh my god, can you believe it's already been 20 years since this movie was released? Man, how time flies. First, the story is something that made the movie so good. The gang had split up because they had become disillusioned through each other, being the janitor in a mask. so they had to go their separate ways. But this isn't long before they are brought back together for what seems to be another job. The main tagline for this movie makes this so good that the zombies and the monsters are actually real, which is both a twist and a refreshing change. I mean, had it been another guy in a mask, would have been very disappointing. The movie itself was made by a Japanese studio called Mook Animations, who are the same animation studios that made SWAT Kats. And I must say, Mook Animations did a really good job at animating all 4 of these movies from Zombie Island to Cyber Chase. And speaking of Mook Animations, what the hell are they up to nowadays? The tone of the movie from the show was well changed dramatically, which is why it's the best today. The tone is much more darker than the original series, with scenes like the village people getting sent into the river, getting eaten by alligators. And you know that this wasn't the same Scooby-Doo we all grew up with. But that's what made it so enthralling. It's daring and edgy, which is what the series needed. Although the rest of the cartoon movies are certainly watchable, they will never capture the brilliance that was this movie. And that pretty much wraps up my list of the top 5 best Scooby-Doo movies. If a favorite of yours didn't make the list, let me know what your favorite was and tell me why. But anyways guys, this is Red Wolf signing out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Here come those meddling kids to join the chase. No creep can keep them